Anya pani zor katabo bihangwama. Bihama gilman ner darsa ner karama ner mo jizambala. Papte zomo ko zamba kagura de bian to haluna.
I don't think we have achieved yet. I think we are still undertaking the journey.
It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
Hello, wonderful viewers out there. Welcome again to another edition of my MudHut with me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, from S1E17. It is always a delight to welcome to the program. And before I introduce my guests as usual, I'm going to go for a very quick commercial break. I am back shortly after we start the program. Don't go away, stick and stay. We are back shortly.
I am Honorable Salfu Said, Northern Regional Minister. I want to appeal to the general public that they should keep on watching my Northern Achiever because it's very educative.
Thank you so much for staying with me on my MudHut Achiever on Sagani TV. And like always, I have a very, very important guest on my list. You know, they say that there's usually wisdom in old age. And my guest today is an elderly man, and he has actually worked himself so hard to get to the top. Even though he does not believe he has done anything for himself, but he really believes that he has done a lot more for himself and even the society in general. My guest today is none other than Alhaji Ibrahim Sherif Mahama, popularly known as Alhaji Savannah, and he is the MD of Savannah Constructions Limited. Alhaji, welcome to the program. Thank you so much, Alhaji, and I'm overwhelmed. And this is something I have always wanted, because to sit next to you is somebody whom I first saw, I think around 92 when we were building the road in Yendi. The road passed through in front of my father's house. There was a neem tree with cats, and my father nearly didn't forgive me for cutting that neem tree, you know. And so I'm grateful and so happy to sit next to you today to interview and to share your experiences that you have to the rest of the world, so that we, the youth, the younger ones, will learn from how you have, you have been through life and to get to where you are today. Now, the first thing I just want to ask is who you really are, because we all hear about you, but who really is Alhaji Savannah?
You're seeing Alhaji Savannah in person. My real name, my birth name is Ibrahim. My father's name is Mahama. In fact, I added the Suleiman to my name because there were so many Ibrahim names during my time, all the kids. So I decided I decided to add the Suleiman just to make it different from the other. Yeah. So I grew up in Wajahi. Yes, Tamale. Just near Abandoned. That's where our family house was. Yes, I went to primary school, Tamale, Baga to primary school. That was in 1951. That was the only primary school in Tamale, apart from the United Primary. Yes, and United Primary was supposed to be a school for sadness and check goers. That was supposed to. So we went to United Primary from 1956. And those days, you had to graduate from the primary school and go to Yendi Middle. But luckily enough for us, in our 4th year at the primary school, they opened the Kalkohem Middle boarding. Yes. And that was the only, at that time, Yendi Middle was the only boarding school in the whole of the north, Dagbong area. Okay. Yes. Because people from Savannah, Tolong, Tamale, were all going to Yendi boarding. But we were lucky when we got to our time. Kalkohem was available, so we went to Kalkohem and started to So, we're yearly when we had our independence in 1957. Okay. Yeah, and in fact, that was the first time we started wearing khaki shorts. Not at the primary school that we were wearing smokes.
Wow.
Yeah, we were wearing smokes. We were not wearing any uniform.
All right. So, in fact, we'll come to talk a little more about the independence and what the Korea was like. But I would love to actually, hear from you how it felt, the struggle to independence. But then let's talk a little more about family, because family is so important in every human's life. Now, how many wives and kids and children do you have?
Okay, I have 3 wives. The senior one is called Fatima Mohammed. She's based in Accra. Yeah, the second one is with me here. She's called Mary Mahama. She had also just applied from the civil service. She was a teacher at the education service. And then the last one is Mary Azul. She comes from Savannah. I have 3 wives.
And how many children in all?
I have 11 children. I have 11 children. I think 6 girls and 5 boys.
Wow. We'll come and talk more about the children, because I have a couple of questions and appellations from people on Facebook about your family and how people admire the way you've been able to manage your family. But then, what kind of upbringing did you get growing up?
My father was partly in the south and partly in the north. Yeah, so I can say that I grew up with my uncles. When I grew up, my uncle Suleiman, he and my father were all in the same house. And then as time went on, he also left the house and then built his own house. But he was mostly in Tamale. Well, it was a very big family. Yendi, we had branches in Yendi, Tamale, and then the south. So the eldest of the family was in Basma Parata, and he was in Yendi. Okay. Not Parata, was in Yendi. He was the head of our family. And then my father was next. And then my uncle Suleiman was the last, not the last, but those who were in the north. He was the last of those who were in the north. Yes. So I grew up with my uncle Suleiman. And during my childhood, he was a farmer. So mostly what happened was that after school, I went to the farm. Yes, and that was where there was a dam at Umbini. Yes, and it was a big dam. And I'm very sorry that it has ceased to exist. It's a thing that the planning authorities and the municipalities have not done well. Because the dam should have been in existence as and it had been a lot of environmental effect on the life of the people of Tamale. But unfortunately, if you go there now, you are farming, vegetables, and other things like that. So that was where we grew up. When I came back from school, I went to a farm. It was just a small farm, about 2-3 acres. Then vegetables and other things. We do the farming and then we go fishing. And then I come back to the house. In the evenings, when I even started school, I was going to Makaranta. I was going to Arabic school. But I think that because there was no one to handle me or control me very well, I didn't finish the Makaranta. I continued with the school. So after school, we go to the farm, come back in the night, and then at the end of the day, go back to the business.
Wow. Now, how has this upbringing actually helped you growing up in life?
Yeah, we had an interesting, from our area there, Wanjahe was an interesting area. It was one of the suburbs of Tamale. Because at that time, Moshizongo and Wanjahe, there was a boundary between us. But as time went on, the place grew, the two areas united. And it was interesting because my maternal grandmother's house was just close to my father's house. So most of the time, I was either in my house or in my grandfather's house. And in my grandfather's house, in the Water Highway, about those of us who were sent to school from that area were about 5 or 6. There were 2 from my grandfather's house, 2 from my house, myself, and then my twin brother, and then there were 2 or 3 from Alpha Mahama's house. So those were in the whole of Nigeria, the only people who attended school. So even though my father was working for a white man who was even an education officer, but my father didn't see it necessary to send our children because I was about the 8th or the 9th born of my father. But all the others didn't, they all went to Arabic schools. So that's how come I was the only one in the family because the other person who was in the family was the son of my uncle.
So in your father's line, you were the only one to have Western education. Wow. Now, let's come back to your education. From Bala, we went to Kapwan.
Yes, from Bala, we went to Kapwan Middle. And then at Kapwan Middle, to Frank, as we were growing up, I was a young boy. We didn't have people ahead of us who could advise us and guide us as to what was life about.
Yeah.
When you finish school, like right now, my children, I ask them, what do you want to do? When you finish school, what do you want to pursue? There was nothing like that. So when I was in the middle school, I did the common entrance for Tama school. I didn't go through the first time. Then the second year, when I was in Form 3, there was this Ghana College exam. When they were going to open Ghana College, that time they had already done the West African exams cancelled, and so there was a special exam for students, for the pioneers who were going to go to Ghana College. So I was one of the students who sat for the Ghana College. Fortunately for me, I passed. But I didn't know that I had passed because when the results came out, they gave the what do you call it? The results to my parents. They quickly opened the cupboard and put it inside, and that was the end of the day. No one, and I was in the south. I went to say that was the first time I visited the south. I went there to say hello to my father, like December 1959, and no one told us anything. So when I was with my father, I told my father, look, if I finish the middle school, I'm going to be sitting in the office for doing something. I want to learn trading. So I would prefer to go to a technical school rather than finish the middle school. So my father said, okay, if you can get a school, we'll see what we can do. So fortunately, I applied to Ghana Technical College in Korea, and they gave me admission. So it was whilst I was at Ghana that my friends who were with me in the Form 3 and they knew that I had passed this exam, Ghana College had been open and they didn't see me. They went to my parents, where is Ibrahim? The school was open, where is he? Before they sent a message to my father told me, I said, look, ask me, Korea now, I'm not coming home to So I was at Ghana Technical for about 50. I went there in 1960 and 61. So whilst I was there, I also had some friends who were also at Kaneshi Secondary Technical. So I asked them, look, so what is happening at your place? They said, oh, next year, 62, we are going to write the entrance examination to polytechnics. Are you doing the same at your place? I said, no, we don't know anything like that. So okay, if it is not happening there, you better come to our school then.
Also register.
Yes. So in January 1962, instead of coming back to Korea, my father gave me money, but he didn't know that I was going to stay back in Accra. He gave me money to come and pay my fees at Korea. So I quickly went to Kaneshi and paid my fees. And they accepted me, and they booked me for the exam. Wow. Yes. And I was lucky. I went through the exam, and I was sent to Temporary Polytechnic to do building. Wow. So I went to Temporary Polytechnic in 1962 to do ordinary national certificate in building. That was the ONC. That's what they are now. That's the highest certificate they are now doing at the Polytechnic. It's called HND.
Okay.
Ours was ONC, and this one is HM. Yes. At that time, the government said no, they were not going to start the higher national in the polytechnics.
Okay.
Because we're doing higher national in Takoradi, Kumasi, and Accra. This was the place we were doing higher national. And what was happening those days was that if you do the national certificate and you are doing building, you do carpentry, you do plumbing, you do electrical, everything that concerns erecting a building. Then apart from that, you have students who will come and do only brickwork and building.
Okay. Okay.
Then plumbing, only plumbing.
And only electrical.
Only electrical. Yes. So that when you leave the system, these are the people who you are going to work with.
Okay.
You get it?
Okay, so you become more like a more resource person.
Yes.
Than the others.
That was what was happening. So our course was 3 years, and their course their courses were 2 years. So I was at Takoradi, and then when the government decided that they were not going to start this higher national certificate, the University of Science and Technology decided that they will do the diploma course in building. So that after we finish, we just go to the USC and then your degree. So that's what happened. So we're in Takoradi for 3 years, and then in 1965 we passed to our exam, and then we went to district. That was a very interesting experience. You know, when I left Tamale here in '69, I was actually not coming to Tamale. I was spending almost all my holidays. Well, my father was a herbalist at that time. So I was helping him in carrying the bag and going around the villages to sell drugs and other things, like herbal medicine. So that's how come I was not coming home. But when I went to KNUST, they brought in one of my brothers, people who conducted me. I went to KNUST.
Wow.
So when we went to KNUST, we were admitted into the faculty of architecture, that is architecture, planning, and building technology. See, but when we went in, the year that we entered the Concord, that was the year they suspended the diploma course in building. Yes. And we didn't have A levels, even though I did 1 or 2 A levels at the polytechnic. I didn't have A levels to continue with the degree course. So we were asked to do 2 years preliminary course in it was called prelims, 2 years prelims. And there you do 3 A-level courses. You add it to a A-level course. So during my 2 years, and that was the time that I came across a lot of Northerners from Tamale. Okay. There was a lot of Northerners. And that time it was just Northern Students Union. There was nothing like the Bomba students, Nanumba students, and it was so interesting. Every problem of a Northerner was a problem for everybody. But now that it has come, you see, in those days it was interesting because in the South, at KNUST, you had something like Official Students Union, the Quiet Students Union. There were individual towns, students from individual. But it wasn't a Dagbong Students Union, it was just Northern Students Union, the whole of the 5 Northern regions. We were all in one group. So we did the prelims for 2 years. And whilst we were doing the prelims, you are in the university and you are doing prelims. So you mix up with a lot of people who already know what is happening in life, and they advise you. So when you finish, what are you going to do? That's all. And I was in the focus of architecture. Then we were doing planning, we were doing architecture, and then we were doing this. I came in to do building, but when I realized that there was a lot of drawing work in planning, physical planning, that is town planning, town and country planning. There was a lot of, and that was my field. I liked drawing so much. So, and it was a diploma course. So when we asked, he said, no, at that time too, there was the planning course, there was a diploma course in planning. And then there was a master's program in planning, but there was no degree course in planning. So the idea was that, okay, why don't you start the planning? As you go on, you see how we are going to, how the department is going to handle the other stuff. So we started planning, I did start planning for 3 years. It was during our 2nd year that they introduced the degree course in planning. So after my final year, You know, and at our time, jobs were just there. You know, at the final year, people will come in, private businessmen will come in with cars, with what and what. But when you come, this is the sort of cars will give you, this is the sort of life you are going to live, this is the sort of bungalows you are going to live in. It was interesting. So after going through all matter of distance, I said, no, why? Let me go out and come back and do the degree. See, so that's how come.
You can work for
yes, and at that time the fiscal planners were not many. See, so we went to Accra, and the director of fiscal planners said, well, we need you. You have to come and man the districts. Now we have only planners in the regional capitals. There are no planners in the districts. So you come out and then we send you to the district and see how you are going to do. So when we came out, I was sent to Border. To front in the whole class of 30, I was the only one who chose the northern and upper regions. Tamale was my first choice, and then Border was my second choice. Then they called me to Accra. Look, in the whole of your class, you are the only one who has selected northern region, northern and upper regions. And look, there are lots of. We want to send some of them to the north. So what we'll do is that we'll plead with you to go to upper region. Then we send somebody to the northern. I said no problem.
So that is how your work experience started.
Yes. So I went to the upper region.
Okay. So on this work experience note, you know, we are going to go for a very quick break. We'll be back shortly after, and then we'll continue with you know, the kind of jobs that Alhaji has taken and how he's been able to, you know, get to where he is today. Don't go away, still can stay. We are back shortly after this break.
I am Alhaji Mohammed Mumuni, otherwise called Lawyer Mumuni. I watch Northern Achiever always, and I feel very greatly inspired. And I thank Sagani Television for airing that program.
Thank you so much for staying with me on my Northern Achiever on Sagani TV. My name is Abdul-Jalil Naabeli. I am a son of Musa. My guest today is Alhaji Savannah. That is how everybody knows him. And we're talking about his work experience before we went to the commercial break. So we're going to continue from where we discontinued before we went for the commercial break. So Alhaji, you went to Bolga to become the
yes, I was a junior planning officer at Bolga.
Okay.
Then after a year, no, not even after 6 months, I was asked to go and open the Buku office of the town and country planning department. So I went to Buku and opened the office. That was an experience. There was nothing on the ground. We had to start beginning this. Right. Well, I think that the people of Buku listen, if there are still people who, because I went there recently and a lot of my friends have passed on, so I don't know.
Not many people will
yes. It was interesting. We did a lot of work in Buku. So I was in Buku for, and you see how I got into construction. At the planning office at that time, if the government decides that they are going to build a school, a bungalow, or anything, anywhere in the district, they will just call the planning officer, go and select a site at so and so, we are going to build a school. So we go to the area and select the site. You see, but what was happening was that anytime you select a site for a contractor, the contractor will come back to the office and say, oh, this is what I'm going to build. I want you to come and profile it for me. Come and do it on the ground. Come and put the rooms on the ground for me to see. That is how I said, but if your contractors cannot do this, and I can do this, why should I sit in the office and allow people who don't know what to do to be doing what they're doing? So that's how come that we started getting into my mind like, you can pay. You are already doing building. Why don't you go and do the building and then you are? So I was in Buku for some time, and then I registered my construction firm, Savannah Construction Work. That was how I. And then I was there with the industry contractors, and I was showing them what to do. So I was in Buku for 6 years. Then I was transferred to DNB. So the day that I had my letter to go to DNB, and I said, oh, this is the time that when I get to DNB, I think I will just wash my hands off and then go into construction, because I have already got my license.
Which year was that?
That was 1976. Wow, 1976. So I went to DNB. And luckily enough for me, you know, all the awarding agencies, at that time it was PWG, AES, IES. They were all students from Tech. Hey, Sheriff, what are you doing here? What do you want? I said, oh, now I'm a contractor. Oh, go and do this work. And that time, the work was there. So I went to Yendi, I studied the planning office. There was one, Mr. Thompson, who was the planning officer at Yendi. I went and took over from him. And then after 1, 2, 3 years, I also did something. I just didn't want to go there and then just go. So after 2 or 3 years in Yendi as a planning officer, and in my Yendi days were very interesting. To be frank with you. You see, when I was going to Yendi, there was this Abudu and Danny, you go, you are not going to be happy, you are going to be that sort of. But when I went to Yendi, both sides there was no problem. And I did my work diligently. I didn't have a problem with the chiefs. See, and after 3 years, when Rollins took over, I said, hey, it's the time, because at that time, I was there and I saw how people were being molested. I said, hey, even if people tell the soldiers that I'm a contractor and I'm town planning officer, just hang me. So, but look, Allah being grateful, I was so grateful to Allah. I mean, this thing came and passed 3-4 months during Lawrence's this thing, and nothing happened. So when he handed over, after he went for 2, I also handed over town planning and went into construction. So that's how
What a way to have a guest on my knowledge achiever. I couldn't have asked for more. And you know, it feel like I now seriously get about seriously as well. In good morning, you're like think that get a new team of seriously actually. This summer coming I'm I am that.
1957, I was 44, 57, that's 13 years.
Oh, you ran that year.
Yeah, I was 13
to the football. That summer, Ulandanye is so challenging. I to Apollo.
No, we are. What can you be matter? That even me, the chain, come on in the first one, I can assume. Then that could show in the chain dealer independence. What bring independence? My son said, that he jumped back into March. No, that's all. We didn't know what was happening. So, Frank, it started in 1952 when the Queen was, I mean, was it the Queen's coronation or something? That was when we realized that there was something we're under some people. Yes. So, the system had to pay a polytechnic. Middle school in 1957. And in January, to matchmaker independent day. So just about 3 or 4 months, 3 months in the middle school, 5th March 1957. So that's why it was interesting. People were happy. I mean, we were very small. We didn't know what this was about.
Okay, but you know, so many people have revered you, you know, including my very own big man, Ambassador Abbas, former Ghana Ambassador President. Yes, I remember he once told me that I must get you on this show. So, in fact, Ambassador, wherever you are, I salute you. You know, so many others. What kind of life have you lived with people that everybody around you seem to love you so much?
I don't know. I can't relax. You know, like I said, when I was in Yendi, it was just everybody. I was free of almost everybody. I didn't have a problem. Even when I was in Yendi, I didn't even want to leave Yendi to front. It was Alhaji Ibrahim who brought me to Tamale. Yes, because when I was in Yendi, I was in Yendi contract. I was doing work since Abuja and Zabzu. So Alhaji Ibrahim came and said, oh, sorry, I could talk to you. Karachi, Catherine, could take Tamale, to multiple association. So can I take a second to take up a show? Those ones on the chapter of I know that. Catamacayina. Can't my mom can be you. So that's how come I had to pack my things and get off. And then I continued with construction in Tamale, and I became the secretary for the Contractors Association. Yeah, I was there when I was in Yendi. From Mr. Liu, Mr. Liu's family, that is the mother. Frank, Manda Punya Bishakamda, who put the shop for my send for me, I'll come, you tell me, I'll send message. That time to Mr. Liu had also completed and he was at S1E17 Bolga. And then Mr. Malik Yakubu, yes, Ogo Mother that be just Jamani and Zambo Jamani.
I'm sure Alhaji is monitoring. Alhaji has something to he doesn't joke with morning program.
So that's why when that problem you couldn't wish Akaba. So Minister, you were very close to Minister Malik, we were very close. It's just unfortunate that
Alhaji will come back to them.
yes.
Alright. Now, what next I want to ask is that being a contractor could be very, very tedious and challenging. Because a lot of people would say a lot of things about your works sometimes. Some people would think you are doing showy work, even though they may not know, what kind of contract you are doing and everything. How has it been being a contractor and, all of these things? Have people always talked about your works, the negative and the bad light? How do you feel about it?
I can't tell because we've done a lot of work. A lot. Yes, we came to construction.
But have you had instances where people talk badly about your works?
The only problem I had recently was Tamale Kumuru. And the problem was not even the quality of my work. It was just that I was not working. But the problem is that if you do a job and you raise a certificate and it is not paid, so where do you get money to continue the work? That was the problem on Kumuru. Previously, some of the projects that we were doing were able to, they were not huge projects. You could easily get money to continue the project until you were paid. But Kumbu was a very big project.
There was this road you did in the one I was talking about in some people say the road was supposed to pass through the forest and go and meet, but it had to be curved in a certain particular way. And it caused quite a number of accidents because of the way it went. Is it true that it was supposed to pass through the forest?
No, you see, let's be frank with ourselves. Even when I drew the town plan of Tayendi, I did the road straight to join the Bimbla road. That was what I did in my town plan. That's why I made it. I didn't keep the road like it was. But that was what was existing on the ground. So when the contractors, when the consultants took me to the site, they said, we want you to do this. And what if you are a contractor, you don't choose what you want to do.
It's what the consultants ask
Yes,
you
you do what the consultants ask you to do. Like I've been telling somebody, if they say you should come and build a latrine on top of a tree, and you sign the agreement and you think you can build a latrine on top of a tree, why do you go there and say that you can't build a latrine? Yes. So if they give you, and recently what is happening in the system too is that sometimes they'll call you and say, look at this contractor, he's doing a small drain. This drain cannot contain the water here. That is the plan that was given to the contractor. If they say build a 2 meter, a 0.6 meter drain, you can't go and build a 0.9 meter drain. Who is going to pay you? Every contract that you are given has a fixed specification. Yes, and it has a fixed sum, or it has a sum. If you do beyond that, you won't be paid. And even they don't even give you plans to do what is not in the contract. Yes. So a lot of people come and say, the no, Mamma, my 18 yes, so black.
I'm just remembering how you were arguing with him about pulling down that tree. I was very young then, actually, but I could understand. It was later in life that I got to understand what you were trying to do, and I could also understand his side of it because he felt that he had, suffered so much to raise a tree. All right, so then, but what are some of the challenges that you have faced in life? And how have you been able to turn these challenges around? Just maybe one is even that long.
I think that okay, when I was going to leave the civil service and join the problem was because I'm coming from a poor family, and I was just wondering. So, and I was the breadwinner in the family. I was wondering, so how come if I'm not paid or if I don't, because no one is going to pay me now. I'm not going to get a fixed salary at the end of the month. That was the challenge. And sometimes this has been a challenge for almost most of the new contractors who are coming to the system. The challenge of being able to get finance from financial products. It's not easy because construction is capital intensive. Yes. Okay. And you see, and luckily enough for me, what I did was that in the beginning, I was not taking big projects. I was just taking what was enough for me to handle. Okay. So I took smaller jobs. Even if I didn't have money, I could organize money in my own way and then do the job. But right now, the sort of jobs that are being awarded today, if you don't go to the bank to get financial assistance, you can't get those jobs. Yes. But you also go and collect the financial assistance. At the end of the day, when you are paid, every money that you get goes back to the bank, and you don't get it. These are the problems that are facing us now in the industry.
And some new contractors also will go and take their contract and they will sell it. Is that one also proven? Would you advise any contractor?
This has been the problem that we have been talking about almost all the time. We have not. You see, when I was going to take my license, my first license, A3B3, they had to send engineers from the south to come and inspect every machine that I had before they gave me the license. But right now, people go to Accra. They just tear the license and give it to them without even having a single shovel. A shovel. And they even won't give them 3 or 4. They will give them class 2 or class 1. And now this sort of person, if he has money even to do the work, he does the work, and at the end of the day, you see, you come and look at the work and think that this has not been done well. So these are the problems in the industry today. When a party wins elections, everyone who belongs to the party feels like it should be a contractor. This is the problem that is now facing the construction industry in Ghana. A young seller, a tailor who is sewing, he will leave his job and then he will say he wants to be a contractor. Go to the agencies now and see the type of people who are coming to buy contract workers. They have never done construction before. So these are the problems. And finally, to take these projects, if they can't even do them, the region will suffer because the project will not be done. And every day they will complain, oh, we'll have to parliament. They could manage, you could manage to parliament. Come and mean the government, I would love contractor. But contract man could talk to him. Only Kawaii and
the government will back to you,
oh, yes. So these are some of the problems, the challenges facing the industry today. I won't say. To amigo yellow rain, come on. Kaya to Ambalama.
Wow. I think authorities will have to look into this. But, well, if they are listening, they should do something about it. But then let's move a little further to asking about your life principles generally. I usually love this because I believe my protege youth are listening and they are taking some lessons from whatever it is that you are saying. What has worked for you in life? What has been your general life principles?
You see, my understanding was that if you can raise a family as early as possible, as early in your life as possible, so that I now in Nayuko can you will train them, you will educate them. At least by the time you get to some level, your children are well educated and you think that you have done your job. But I am good. It's not easy to come by this. So the idea was that you could. So now pushing Boku. 1974, I got married, and unfortunately my wife passed on, and we had one child. And before I moved to Yemen, and I married these 2 other ladies. So, and me, I'm open to my children. How? What are the challenges? What are the problems? The challenges for the problems. I'm a builder, so at least I want one of my children to be a contractor or to be a builder. So finally, luckily enough for me, one of my children, you see, is building. And now he's when he did building a bond when he came back. My dad not having taken masters and then he was teaching at craft for taking. Oh, but could be an interior there and come on. Building a private work is the more school work the mother programs. We look to more some 1 year leave of absence so he's doing his own work in Accra. So Bimaza, they are the boys. One is a doctor. He went to Cuba to do medicine and he's gone back to do his postgraduate in what you call this
Okay.
Oh,
is it neurologist?
Neurosurgeon. The other one too is a planner. He's at the regional office. He's a regional command planner. He's at the regional office here. And then the last boy is old man. He's in the room here. Yes, I gave him a father's name, so he's using it very much. So he did art.
Yes.
Yes, and I don't know where you've been hearing.
Yes, recently I heard of him on the BBC.
Yes.
And I'm actually planning to bring him on my program.
He's in the room here. So the Kabi Mami, guess Mami, the two of them, they went to Legon to do French. Yes, and the other one, the elder
In fact,
one.
I have met Bintu.
Oh.
Bintu came to our driving school in Accra, and I was a driver instructor. So yes, I've met Bintu.
So Bintu is now working with Nestor.
Yeah, Nestor
with me.
Yes.
Then we have Nafisa, and Nafisa too, he also did French, but he went back to do law. Yes, and he had just completed, I don't know the way forward, what he's doing.
Wow. I am very, very much impressed about it. And people are talking about it. A lot of people have asked me to ask you questions about how you've been able to manage your family, to have such a successful, kids. And so we'll go for a very quick commercial break. I'll come back and then ask you questions about how you've been able to raise your children to become so responsible in life. We'll go for a very quick commercial break on this, and when I am back, we'll conclude on this session. Don't go away, stay and stay with our children.
Nwile Abdul-Rahman Muhammad Sani, Buburma Manshane, and I'm a Metro Director of Education. Unponsu so come ne olire my northern achiever. So come as a home, the Yala Ben Shaw then te hankala, Casson te Nachimba and Passarama. Don't found so come Janji. Lihi Sagani, my northern achiever, the Yala Ben Shaw, then the Titi hankala.
Thank you so much for staying with me on my Northern Nigeria on Sagani TV, and I will come back from the commercial break. My name is Abdul-Jalil Naabeli. I am a son of Mr. Kumo. And today my guest remains Alhaji Ibrahim Sherif Mahama, popularly known as Alhaji Savannah, the MD of Savannah Constructions Limited. And we're talking about family and how Alhaji has been able to raise his kids to become meaningful citizens in society in the midst of all of these social vices. So Alhaji, this way a pumpkin like a swimming pool to had for so many bad and like I was talking can you talk about Boya Jam, Bodo Rata, the room Rata, Blackato, no, my father, Katu by the Bimona, Katu by Virginia, Kabusa, and Islam,
So, apart from my mom and my brothers, we went up happy. So I don't do that and do but such a university. And the problem is that I may be one beginning. You toss her. I mean, love be a mina be so soon. Was what the pim, no can I teach you answer about that. Pay it on certain family, very no more like a mina be put till feel that comes out. My the one may become a be soon at the park. I somewhat live at Zoom. Cabin share, you like kind of window. I know I was a sour. Can I bong iron bags? To the number the family will think to the chamber. My husband, my mini brothers and mini brothers, we shall go kind of to maybe my advice, look at him by, look at the channel. So the look at maybe what behind, but what advice about unknown wouldn't you passion, unknown wouldn't you know some more. Some of you might be better, you saw you might be better, the long look at the big man. Comes out to soft Zara, who soft Zara, comes out to Chan Invest. At one time, that time, we had more than 60 students at that. Comes out being man, come one, comes out, join neighbors have bought like that sheep. Big weekend can bottom sheep. So then that cannot to pass him, man. Do me go ye la Paris, my son. I mean, I behave no free in tower. I mean, I probably even no free in tower. Then you get to show do no pain. So the woman character I said, the bamba. Sometimes a good time to come and go more small, the wine walk in your car is really. Would that go one colonel? The number, Mumbalan didn't know my I mean, I'm able to that, didn't want to bush it. I didn't want to come up, I don't put them like one parliament. I ain't doing formation, I ain't doing a family, I ain't doing a patient, I ain't no patient. So this second and losses and together. Something don't want, but maybe I is somebody probably against some of them like tears and Baba probation with the and so to me, people say, look at the Toyota Puluna, I'll come back in as a shell. Alhamdulillah,
this is intriguing. But then, now, from all these that we have just said, what general advice would you have for the youth of today? Because I want you to look into your camera and tell the youth of today what general advice you have for them.
When you play the much emotion, about so. The time matter, not I be, yet was not in the rack. Nothing shed that can drop in yellow, a married drop in yellow. What a land of a shakam like a so long girl, can out to them to young can so buy a solo. Nay, banman, nay, manmani, dundona, nay, buy a solo tea, so comes that. Kabang, Baba, no born in Nasham, no born in Dolsham, Kaba Soma, Kayam Borsa. America in Kuyisina, Sambane, Kaya woman yet was and kept going at it. Because I is man, I will Isla family shelter. Ulakan come Baba number 8 can come by Levy a Dundomas or that. I am Bushambala, Marco Isla Capunia, Zalamo, a Batala Luru to Bezalamo Batala Chichi to Bing Kapul Dole Carpala Camon. I near view, I was born iron, no Shankali, Katis, and Dinner show. A shortcut to life, life a shortcut. Life a shortcut. Shall could do it, could do Wallama, I went to Wallama, now you are something. I'm not up there, come away, you're somebody. Tinia Tablan on Shankabanu. So that's terrible. I can't now there are some questions that some appreciation for people on Facebook. So there is this man, is it Lukman Isaka? Said he thought you were called Alhaji Ibrahim Sherif Mahama. Sherif was a nickname given to me at the university.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, people are calling me Sherif. That's how it comes out.
There's Honorable Abdul-Jalil Muhammad. I don't know what honorable it is, but he says that your footprints are dotted across the country, especially the then 3 northern regions. You have indeed paid your dues to Mother Ghana. And he continues again to say that your indifference in the upbringing of children from across various homes and tribes makes you an outstanding father of all. And above all, your contribution to the development of Islam across board is phenomenal. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes I don't know if you sort of that's why. That Obama, sometimes when you do these things, yes, it just goes in and goes out. So, but I can't even remember anymore. But right now, so man, Bishop comes in, my resources. Don't play no some kind of there's also some argument can come to me. either gentleman, either Michelle, anything that concerns because so anything Amaria is something that I don't have the program to.
Wow. And Mukaida Mohammed says you are a great man indeed. And I have Al-Hassan Ras Swali, and he says that with all your achievements in life, I should please ask you whether you have impacted into the lives of the people of Tambali through your construction company in providing a unique classroom block for students to benefit.
No, I've done it. I can't, like I said, I've given money for the construction of schools. Yes, come on, hey, I found one book and I think like school, give all the songs. Timela Jamaica Katua, Tino Katua. Here, Mamma, cannot Zania, Miller School, but we've done a lot. I can't, and to
Now, I have Isa Idrisu, and Isa Idrisu is saying that his question to you is that you have been blessed in all ways of life through your wives, your children, and even the society. Now, what did you do, or how did you pray to the Almighty that He answered your prayers so to be that successful? And that some of us in this generation really want to emulate them. So, what prayers do you usually tell God? I also know like
I think that solo near Dunya Bim Shakamana school. Then I just look, I went to my plot and someone has put up a building on the plot. And it's a sorry building. So I just looked at it and I walked away. Wow. It's a sorry building. Should I ask them to pull down the building? I can't do that. I had a plot and I didn't do anything on it. And someone came and stole it and did something. And I went to go and say that pull down the building. I won't do that. He said, Mr. Kamayas, we shall be yard in our sometime. It was mine, but it wasn't mine. So someone had taken it. So there are certain things in life. You can't move forward.
Wow. Yes. This is incredible. You know, I'm almost lost for words, but the interview must continue because to have a plot that somebody built, because if somebody is building is erecting, is tall building on your plot, it means that plot is a very important plot. And a lot of us today would have cried foul. And no matter what happens, I either pull it down or I pull it down. Wow. And so that's intriguing.
And the most interesting thing about it was that look, when they were going to do the layout for the area opposite Campbell. Yes, I provided money to the Campbell chief for them to prepare the layout. And they were to give me 4 plots. But they gave me only 1 plot. And they told me I should wait, they will get the other 3 plots before they give me the offer letter. So, man, put the 1 plot, I get your offer letter, I know I'm doing construction. So I've even forgot about it. But then they told them, not Sonny money.
Maybe I'll have to look for one of your plots and also start.
So right now I've told myself that I'm not ready to acquire any new plot. So or even the old plot that I've got, I'm giving it up to my children. I don't want to have any plot again. They have the means, they want the place.
I cannot take leave of you without asking you how you got the name Savannah.
Okay, you know, when I wanted to start the company, I was saying that what name should I use for this company? Then I said IS Mahama Enterprises. You know, everybody was using his name.
Yes.
And I said, oh, but Savannah, because I shouldn't just have the name. And then everyone got point to me. So I said, okay, let me use Savannah. Because Savannah covered the whole of the claim of the 5 of I use Savannah.
And so, in fact, that's why when we do Savannah, we thought you were the owner of radio.
Even people came to me and said, oh, a radio station man. I said, I can't radio station man.
Right, so what would be your final words to everyone watching right now?
Well, it's interesting. You know, I never knew that the day would even come when I would put on.
You so much deserve this more.
So I think that we should do the right things, and then we should promote the region because we are still far behind. when you look at the other time I was at a terminal teaching hospital and someone was asking how many Dagbong doctors do you have? You see, with all this education that we have, our children are pursuing. At the end of the day, you sit down and still ask yourself, what is happening in the system? So we still lack a lot of things, and we have to be serious with the North. Because what we do, I've asked all my children, try and let the North be your focal point. So when this doctor came home from Cuba, I asked him, he cannot stay here. He did his housemanship here before he was able to.
That's why Ibrahim also has a gallery here in Tamale.
Yes, and when I talked to him, he also said, look, there's no gallery here. I'm coming here. I'm coming to do it here. I'm not going to do it anyway. So let us give back to the North what the North has given to us. And there's one thing that I will say before I listen. When we were in the university, we were getting Northern grants. They were giving us money in the university. I mean, there was, and but when we started it, the president, vice president's father started it. All the Northerners who were here and they were going to the university, anytime they were going, you give them money, and then you make sure that when they get there, you will make sure that every month they will go and give them some money. And that was what helped them a lot. And then they were able to. And when we also entered the university, that time the government had taken over the scholarship system. And they were paying us. They were paying all the students who were in tech. They would give us money every month. And that's also, even some of us who came from poor parents, we had to even send some of the money to buy corn and other things to do that for the family. So the law has not been easy. And it's also our fault, because it was the British who brought about all these problems that we had finally, because they refused to allow us to go to school. And that's how it comes.
So that they can have cheap labor.
Yes, cheap labor to do things.
Well, in fact, this is all I've asked for and even more, because I believe that you at home have also learned a lot. You know, combing through what Alhaji have been speaking about throughout today, I've learned that we must always start small. At some point, Alhaji, didn't mince words to tell contractors that they should always try to start small, be able to take up contracts that you can finance yourself. It means therefore that even if you are into any other business, start small, do everything within your means. And then you should also develop some close relationship with your family. That way you are going to be able to have your family grow into a bigger family, or a prosperous family that you will really yourself will be amazed about it. And then also I've also learned that you should always help for the sake of just help. Alhaji has helped a lot of people, yet he cannot even remember ever helping anyone. This is because he does it wholeheartedly, without even thinking about any other person in mind. Then the one most important thing that a lot of my guests have always talked about, including Alhaji one also hammered a lot on, and this was patience. He said that we should always be patient, and that what is yours will always be yours no matter what. To an extent that somebody builds a story building on his land, a valuable land, forgets about it, and just say that, that's how it is. If maybe it wasn't meant to be mine in the first place. And finally, Alhaji is admonishing us that we should give back to the North what the North has given to us. Investors in SAM who are Northerners, why not invest in the North? And let's start that and see whether in the next 10 years the North will be at the next stage. Thank you so much for doing the monitoring and watching for today. And today I would like to say a very big shout out to Mr. Isaac Amin. So Isaac Amin was my accounting master at Ghana School. Also I would like to say a very big thanks to Mr. Sakaya Eyaku, who is a research assistant at AGS here, very phenomenal organizing this particular event. So thank you so much for that. Hajara of Abdul-Jalil Naabeli. My beautiful designs was by Bombas, Aziz Bombas, and as for the material, it's of high quality, fresh from Nigeria. If you want any of this type, just call my producers on 020-778-2424, and I will get you the same price. It is at a very, very affordable price. I would also like to say thanks to everybody for doing the monitoring. Thank you so much for being solid behind me. Thanks to everyone at Sagani TV and see and everybody out there. Thank you so much for doing the monitoring. Until I come your way again next week. This has been me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli. I am the star.